Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 61 of the GameTime Gents podcast. This is me, Nardi, here with Fish and Zoltowski. Boys, say hello.
Hello.
And we are sorry this is a day late. We the boys were coming back from a little trip down in Tennessee. But we do have a show. It's going to come out tomorrow morning. If you're listening to this, around 9 in the morning is when I think I'm going to schedule this to come out. So you'll have ample time before the Thursday night game to listen, get our fantasy input here, and kind of look at your lineup. So we do have news to go through. We have our fantasy zeros, our heroes, and then our starts of the week. But there's a lot of news to cover. We had the trade deadline this week for the NFL. It was the second most trades that have happened in the past 10 years or something like that. I think Schefter reported. So, and a lot of big names moved. So, Sauce Gardner went from the Jets to the Colts. The Jets also got rid of Quinnen Williams. He is now a Dallas Cowboy. Joining him is Logan Wilson from Cincinnati. Rashid Shaheed, wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints, is now a wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. Jacoby Myers got his wish, and he is out of Vegas, and he's now in Jacksonville, where their very young GM today said his superpower is not dropping the ball. So I feel like that was kind of a shot at BG or BJT or BTJ, whatever you want to call him. And then the last couple of fantasy relevant moves, just because Philly's defense is going to look a lot more scary these next coming weeks. They finally got an edge rusher, Jalen Phillips. He's really, really good. He was really, really good when healthy in Miami. And then they also got corner Jair Alexander from Baltimore. So Fisher boys are looking up. It's going to be exciting.
It is. I'm just glad because I know the Trey Henderson speculation was out there, and obviously Dallas was in the works. The Eagles were in the works. They wanted a first round and a young prospect. I'm glad nobody bid on that. I mean, Howie does Howie things. I mean, we gave up, a third round pick for what's his face? So I'm okay. Like you said, when healthy, he's great. He's obviously had a lot of injuries, but Vic Fangio knows how to play players on certain snap counts where they're not being constantly overused. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I think we got a lot of steals there. I know Jair Alexander isn't what he once was, but it'd be nice to kind of bolster that defense. We also picked up another cornerback too. So, I mean, just adding more depth to it. So you never know. It's all cheap stuff.
A.J. Brown didn't move, which is a huge plus. So
yeah, everybody knew he wasn't going to move. So I don't know. Anywhere. Not going anywhere. So, yeah, it's good. I'm excited for it. Logan Wilson was kind of an interesting one. I know he was very, very communicative and talkative in regards to the defense and so on and so forth. So, doesn't make any sense to kind of trade a defensive piece when your defense is bad. But the rookie had no problem speaking up about it, though. By the way, he doesn't have as many tackles as Jamar Chase does on the entire year. So for rookies, doing a lot of talk for not kind of what we all projected, not really producing. So
is it Shamar Stewart? Is that who you're talking about? I didn't hear about that.
Him and a few others were very, very vocal of how their defense has been playing and their frustrations and stuff. And then somebody, of course, did the page 5 Google and realized that he ranked last at everything essentially, and he's had one tackle. So it's not a good look, especially for your rookies who are supposed to be kind of hush hush, don't say anything until you prove it. So that whole organization is just destroyed themselves
in shambles.
They do it every year, man. It's every year. Like somebody's a loudmouth, and
this year's bad though. It's bad. So.
Well, Trey's the only silver lining on that defense now, and even he's not producing as much as he used to. So, those were the big trades we saw. We do have some injuries to catch you up on. So, I don't know if you guys watched, I think it was Sunday Night Football last week, Jaden Daniels, gruesome injury. I'm shocked ESPN showed it twice, or Sunday Night Football in BC, whoever it was. Gruesome elbow injury, most likely done for the season. Weirdly enough, it happened against the same team on the same field at the same yard marker as the RG3 injury.
That's really weird.
So a lot of people are, and RG3 posted a 45-second video of him tearing up and making it about himself. So that was fun to see. But go ahead.
So with this one, right, and Zoltowski, I know I bust your nuts on, playing your players.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's over, sit your starters, right?
Hmm.
This isn't some game changing linebacker or some corner or an offensive lineman where you have multiple of those guys that could fill in that spot. This is your franchise player. This is the player that you drafted to change the franchise, to lead your team for the next 10 to 15 years successfully, right? To be that dumb and say, yeah, we're going to go ahead and keep playing our starters, right? This is the importance of at any minute, at any given point, all it takes is one play for your star player, right? A Cam Scatabo is a different thing, but I mean, a Jaden Daniels, where, I mean, lucky it wasn't his throwing arm. Or an
Yeah.
injury like that where we know it gets bent the wrong way. I mean, you see it all the time in knee injuries where, oh, damn, looks like a hyperextension. That thing bent the wrong way. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, his PCL, MCL, ACL, and his other knee is all destroyed, right? A lot of players don't come back from these injuries or not the same. So the Commanders are throwing away their season. I mean, the season was already completely night and day from last year. It's just one of those things where it's okay to sit your starters. If you're down by 1,000, no need to continue to play your top guys. Get your rookies in. This is a prime example of, wow. I mean, that's a gruesome injury. Now it's just not a good look on that organization to lose your future. So not good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I saw Dan Quinn had come out and at first was like defending his decision to keep him in, and then flip flopped immediately to be like, "Yeah, it was a dumb decision. Shouldn't have done that." It was what 31-8 or 7 or something. It was bad.
Yeah.
Like he should have been out of the game long ago. Especially near the fourth quarter, you don't have a chance. It harkens back to like we talked about, and you constantly busted my balls about that Hutch injury last year when he snapped his leg in two. He got lucky, came back. He's been performing well, but look at Tank Dell and, like you talked about with the knee thing, and that was just regular game, shouldn't have been out. Well, it can happen, and you don't want that. It's, number 2 overall pick last year. He did fantastic, took him all the way to the NFC Championship, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's not a good look.
And it has a lot of fantasy implications too. Like every receiver on that team now is much less desirable than they were. The running game's not going to be as good. It takes like a whole offense out of the picture pretty much. So, next we have Tucker Kraft, who has been absolutely balling out this year towards ACL. Unfortunately, he's out for the season. We have Travis Hunter. He has a knee injury. He's been placed on IR. I'm not sure the extent of it. I just saw it was a knee injury. CJ Stroud is still in concussion protocol. He's ruled out for week 10. So hopefully he bounces back. It is the long neck Davy Mills is the next guy up. So he's produced pretty well when he has to step up. So hopefully you won't lose much with Nico Collins there. This next one I want to talk about, this is really bad for the Chargers. So they were already out Rashawn Slater for the year. Joe Alt is now out again. It's a high ankle sprain.
He needs surgery.
It is rest of the year. That sucks,
Yep,
man.
rest of the year.
I mean, they were probably tackle duo in the league coming in as the best 2 tackles on one team. And now, you got to worry about, does Herbert have the time? How does this impact the running game? So what do you guys think? How does this impact the rest of the season for the Chargers? They did trade for Trevor Penning from the Saints. I'm not sure his history, his extent of playing, anything like that. But
well, we saw what happened the first time he got hurt, that slide that they went on a little bit there. It definitely slowed the momentum. Hopefully the guy they traded for can fill that gap a little bit. It sucks. It's really, really not good for the Chargers. It's unfortunate in a year where they were playing really well. Alt gets hurt. They slide. He comes back. They start gaining momentum again, and now he's out for the season. That's a guy who's definitely a leader on that offensive line as well. So that's just a huge blow as well there too. Or just your composure, and losing a leader like that always sucks.
It does. I think fantasy wise for implications, obviously, I think like Nut said, right? If Herbert doesn't have enough time in the pocket, you're not going to be able to see those mid to distance passes as often as we did see, right? So I think the biggest benefit is going to be Vidal. I think you're going to see a lot more dump passes, quick releases over the middle, stuff like that. Just kind of get it out of his hands, get that offensive line kind of geared back up to what they could possibly be. But I mean, any pass rush is going to take advantage on both those tackle spots, and they're going to bum rush that. And I mean, Herbert's going to do a lot of dance and try and get out of there, but I think those dump passes off to the running back to try and gain that some type of momentum to kind of keep the rest of that defense at bay, so they're not blitzing 4, 5, 6 guys at a time. It's going to be really, really difficult for them, and unfortunately, it's going to impact. I think Lad McConkey may benefit from it because being a corner guy, the slot guy is going to kind of drift right over the middle, which is great, but. Quinshon Mitchell is gonna right. Mitchell, is it Mitchell?
Quentin Johnston.
That's right. Sorry, I was thinking of Guantanamo Bay. Johnson, I think, is gonna take the full front of this. He's been known to kind of beat people deep. He's had time. Keenan Allen has never been the speedster, so him don't pass it out to the out to the line over the middle again. But I think Lad McConkey and Vidal are going to succeed more here in this. And that tight end that they have. You're going to see a lot of Jake Ferguson dump passes right over the middle. So we'll see what happens. Maybe that offensive line kind of surprises us, and they kind of chemistry mesh-wise, will benefit from that. But those two are going to be very, very tough to kind of replace, especially as we get towards the end of the season playoff pushes. So sucks. It does. But, I mean, it's football. Big men going after other guys, so.
Yeah, I know Joel's very young, so he'll bounce back fine. Slater, I'm pretty sure, is pretty young. I think he just got signed. Maybe he's a 4-year pro, and they picked up his option or something. He just signed a fat contract in the offseason, I know that. But hopefully he bounces back well, too, because
he's
really
26.
Like
he should be all right.
Yeah, I love watching Rashawn Slater play. So, couple other things injury-wise. Some things to monitor. Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin are still both not practicing. The Buccaneers are coming off of a bye this week. And James Cook did not practice Wednesday, which is today. We're recording this a day late. He could be out week 10, which means the workload will go to Ray Davis or Ty Johnson. It is a very favorable matchup for the Bills, rushing-wise. They play Sorry. I'm on the wrong week. The Bills play Miami, and Miami is one of the worst teams against the rush. So if James Cook does not play and you need a fill, maybe Ray Davis is out there, maybe Ty Johnson's out there. I would lean Ty Johnson just because of the receiving workload. But, I think either of those two guys will have some success there. The Cardinals are sticking with Jacoby Brissett as their starting quarterback. The way they said it today kind of seemed like they were happy about it. Kyler Murray is still battling a foot sprain, and it kind of seems like the Cardinals are fine with that. So Jacoby's been really balling out for him. I don't know if
probably helps he can see over the offensive line.
That's definitely a point. Kyler's gonna probably have some time to play some Call of Duty. It comes out this.
They put him in the IR, didn't they?
They did, yeah. 4 to 8
comes
weeks.
Out in 9 days as of we're recording it,
yeah.
And then the 14th.
So he'll have some time to get his COD time in, but
at what point, right? And we don't know the extent of like the whole Bucky Irving thing. Nobody really knows what's going on there, right? But the Kyler Murray thing, he's been with this team for however long, right? Years, right? Hasn't really done much to kind of showcase like, hey, I'm here to stay. Sign me to that contract. I'm going to try and win you guys, get us into the playoffs, kind of thing. At what point do they start? Do they start looking in the draft the next 2 years to try and draft a younger quarterback and say, hey, the beef brisket we're good with for this year and next year, and then we'll go ahead and draft somebody young and kind of like, hey, this Kyler Murray project it's over. Do you guys think that's a more realistic possibility now? Or
it's his 6th year. He's drafted in 19, so I think you're right. Ride it out with the brisket and see what you can pull out of the draft. Maybe Kyler converts to a different position. We've seen that happen before with QBs who are quick. Put him maybe as a wideout, run some sweeps. You never know. A little bit of wildcat.
So the crappy thing is, I'm looking now. He has a very, very heavy cap hit the next 2 years. In 2026, it's 53 million. In 2027, it's 43 million. So he'll be 30 by the time this contract's over. I don't really see anyone trading for that kind of contract. Maybe they can work something out with somebody where, they get Kyler and they take on a part of his contract, but it'll probably be Cleveland. Who am I kidding? But yeah, I think that they are ready to move on from Kyler. Like you said, it's been 6 years. I think the trial period's been done.
Yeah. His first 3 years in the league, I see why they signed him to the contract. He threw almost 4,000 yards all 3 years, over 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 10, really good rating, QBR, but I don't know.
The rushing upside too. Yeah, he was to watch on the trade deadline too this year.
It just says don't win the Heisman. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
But that was the news we had for this week. We do have our fantasy zeros. Fish, you want to start off? You got quite the list here.
I always have a good list here. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about because every week I look and I go, great. That guy lost me a fantasy week. So I'm going to go ahead and name a rare name, Brandon Aubrey. I know that he's been automatic essentially from 70 yards. I know Dallas threw him out there. They heard that the Jags guy, it set that record. So like, oh yeah, go ahead and you also kick a 68-foot, yard field goal. Didn't really work out. He only finished with 4 fantasy points. A little upsetting. Dallas offense just again, it's the midpoint, right? The Dak and everyone else is just a little off chemistry wise. So they did bolster up their defense, so things might change, but who knows? Another rare occurrence: the Lions running backs, both of them, just couldn't get anything going. Montgomery had that fumble, which kind of sucked. So it is what it is. They probably won't appear back on this list, but I wanted to touch them just a little bit.
I think it's more Gibbs than Montgomery. Montgomery still had 11 points, just barely under what he was projected to get.
Yeah, but if he didn't get that touchdown, it's just it was like 10 for 30 yards, right? Now for that high power offense with their run game, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But
I think he fumbled on like a 53-yarder or something.
It wasn't
good
about
that.
Krusky Merritt, for a guy that he has the keys to the castle. We know that Washington's offense is struggling and it will continue to struggle. You figure, okay, maybe the running backs will benefit. He's had 4 straight weeks of averaging 4 points. I'm surprised they didn't make any type of trade offer for another running back who might be a little bit better. That was a little upsetting there. Kamara, brother, it's time to hang it up. You had minus 0.3 fantasy points in some of my leagues. I know the Saints offense and defense and organization where they're at. It's just not good. They need to do something. But Kamara might have to take that pina colada a little early. It's not working. It's just not. Jordan Love, successfully, they won. Passing wise, did well, but the points weren't there. It just didn't really get any touchdowns. Not really effective in the run game either. Chris Olave has had a sneaky decent season, but obviously with the Saints passing most of the time, figure a little bit more out of him. Not really happening this week. Cortland Sutton, he had 9 points, 10 points, which is great. Wanted to touch on his 1 reception for 30 yards and a touchdown. He was only targeted 6 times. So without that boom or bust factor, he would have had 0 points. Jordan Mason, we talk about the best running back ever. Aaron Jones is back. He looks like he's old Aaron Jones again. So Jordan Mason will not be a start going forward unless something happens to Aaron Jones. Aaron did look very, very good this past week, 9 for 74, I think. He looks good coming off that injury. So Aaron Jones will probably be a must start going forward. Jordan Mason kind of ride the pine until he either gets traded to another team or another injury happens. And one other name I'm kind of happy to put on this. He had a good year last year. It is the Dowdle show over in Carolina. Chuba Hubbard, I think, has lost all starting capacity there. Dowdle, the last, 3-4 starts that he's had, he has averaged 150 yards on the ground. So I don't know where he's getting those fresh legs, but Chuba Hubbard is on the way down. Again, one of those other possible, names to kind of monitor over the trade implications, but unfortunately nothing moved there. So that's my list. That's a short one, shorter than usual, but still a little impactful.
Yeah. He missed one.
Did he miss one?
Yeah, he didn't talk about Seattle.
Seattle.
The running backs.
Oh, Kenneth and Zach Charbonnet.
Oh, did I miss? Oh, they were so bad this week. I forgot to mention them. So,
is Sam Darnold just playing that well still?
Sam Darnold's playing very, very well. JSN's very, very insanely good. Right? They pick up another streak. A deep ball threat, which is great. Again, it's one of the situations where those running backs, you figure one of them is going to, give them 60%, give them 100%, whatever it may be. They're still doing a split thing. Both of them ended with 8 points, but again, I've seen a lot of those leagues where you draft both and you start both. That's only 16 points. So I mean, it's like those are downs. Yeah, I think I was actually looking at your team and saw it. And I was like, that sucks for that guy. So, that sucks.
It sucks, but they usually both don't suck. So at least they kind of morph and fuse into one player.
Right. Walker will get 14 and then Charbonnet will get 2. So it's the 16 points there. So.
Jordan Mason, he is struggling. I will agree with that. He is not a drop candidate in my mind. The reason that is because, Aaron Jones can go out at any moment and he can go out multiple times a game. We've seen it happen. So not ever wishing an injury on anybody, but the two things I wanted to bring up for your list here, Krosky Merritt, Chris Rodriguez has been a name I've been hearing a lot on Twitter. He played 34% of snaps against Seattle, and he ended up with 12.5 fantasy points. He was the one that had the touchdown, 12 carries, 65 yards. That's like 5.4 yards a carry. So, I mean, could see more from him going forward just because Bill has been so lackluster these past 4 weeks. And you said the Packers won. They actually lost.
Oh, did they lose?
Yep. They lost on a last-second field goal.
Damn.
It's because they wore those garbage-ass uniforms.
Yeah, those were
that's
so ugly.
It looked like the Bears out there.
Yikes.
But I'll go through my list. Keon Coleman, where you at, dude? You're supposed to be Josh's number 1. Jonathan Taylor, rare name on this list. You probably won't see him again. The Steelers just had their number this week. Tyrone Tracy, he was one of the hot targets for pickups after Scotabo went down. I'll piggyback off of you, Fish. Zach Charbonnet specifically sucked. Debo and Zach Ertz, they both, I know, have their quarterback injured, but you'd figure that those two guys, veteran presence, they'd be the safety blanket there for Marcus Mariota. Just not looking good. And then, did you guys happen to catch the score of the Bears-Bengals game?
Yeah.
It's like 47 to 42, I think.
Yeah. Caleb Williams had 3 touchdowns, 280 passing yards. Who's my fantasy hero, by the way? Roma Dunze with a goose egg.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
No, nothing there.
Fuck that guy in particular.
I can't. I mean, you figured, you look at that box score, like, oh man, Rome must have ate that day. Nope. Famine.
I saw the box score, or the score at the end of it when it popped off, and then I was like, oh, I didn't get a single sleeper notification about Rome. And I said, oh, that's because he didn't do a damn thing.
You know who did do a damn thing? Colston Loveland.
Oh, God, yeah. I finally get one.
He played pretty well. He had the walk-off touchdown. But we'll get into I'm sorry, Zoltowski, you have a couple. My bad.
Yeah. I mean, I can go throw myself in the trash if you'd like. That's fine. Just 2 quick ones. I mean, you Rome, Lions running backs. You touched on all the main ones. Cortland Sutton, guys I start all the time that just dropped the ball. It's fine. We won in one league, lost in the other. Bad. Only scored 64 points. But yeah, couple zeros. Which one? Keishon Butte. I think he got hurt, hamstring, 0 for 1, just bad goose egg. Doesn't hurt. He's been performing well. Started him thinking, I'll get at least 12 points out of him. Nope. And then probably one you won't see either again. Miss Patty, just a rough game in Buffalo. Didn't score. I think he had 15 points. 195 yards, some rushing yards, but it's not a good game for him.
I'll give it to you. You were right about Kansas City Buffalo. I thought Kansas City was playing so well that they were going to go in there and win, but
Josh Allen now is 5-1 against the Chiefs in the regular season. He doesn't lose in the regular season. It's the playoffs. They can't beat him in the playoffs, especially when they're playing in Buffalo.
I guess I just don't remember the regular season games that much because they don't have as much
was it in
importance.
Kansas City?
I think it was in Kansas City.
Oh, well, regardless,
this past
they
week
beat him.
It was in Buffalo.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
We'll get into our heroes. To piggyback off your Miss Patty, I started Miss Patty in a 2-quarterback league, and then this man came in and saved my game, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams had an absolute whale of a game in Cincinnati. He threw the ball all over the field unless your name was Roma Dunze. He had 34 pass attempts, 20 completions, 280 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 5 rushes for 53, and then he even caught a pass off of a Philly special for a touchdown. I'm not sure who threw that, but
DJ Moore did.
DJ Moore did? Okay.
Rome, so it was originally to Rome, and then he threw it to DJ. Back. Yeah, because I heard Rome's name, and I was like, oh, you got a passing touchdown. Cool. Nope, nothing.
Rome should get some sort of points for that, right?
I don't know.
But Caleb has done really well all year. He's been sacked much less this year than he was last year. This year, he only has 14 sacks against him. Last year, he ended the season with 68. So those offensive line moves that they made over the offseason are really paying dividends. He's thrown for over 200 yards in every game except for one. It was against New Orleans. It probably came down to game script, but he is on pace to be Chicago's first ever 4,000-yard passer in franchise history. So, I love to see what he's able to do with an offensive-minded coach like Ben Johnson. What do you guys expect from Caleb going forward, though? I mean, he's still got some tough games to play. He plays Pittsburgh, Philly, Green Bay twice, Cleveland, Detroit, San Fran, and Minnesota.
That's not an easy schedule by any means, but I think this is the Caleb that they drafted. This is the Caleb that we all were hoping to see, right? We understand that the first year, I mean, he talks all kinds of shit, says, he wants this, and this in his contract. You got to live up to it. And so far, he's living up to it, right? I think the biggest thing, it might have been, okay, he's got 1 year under his belt. He kind of understands, college athletes and pro athletes are two different beasts, right? You got offensive linemen and D tackles running 6'4" 40s. It's like crazy things like that. So I think kudos to him for taking that 1 year and go, hey, you know what? Okay, yeah. Honestly, it's the general office there. They built an offense and a team around Caleb. This is what if you're going to draft a quarterback early, if you're in a rebuild mode, this is what all offenses should do. They got a shit ton of receivers. They picked up Swift. They got other running backs. They beefed up that O-line. They said, he got sacked 68 times. Let's go ahead and cut that down a little bit, right? He's got half a second to throw. Let's give him 3 seconds. And so far, he's showcased his capabilities. They got tight ends out the wazoo. They got receivers. They're utilizing this offense how it should have been utilized last year. So I think going forward, there will be some games where he'll struggle, right? Naturally, right? None of those teams that you named are cakewalks by any means. But do I think he'll do fine and still succeed? Yeah, I think they'll win a handful of those games and they'll lose some. There'll be some sophomore slumps of his, decision making, whatever it may be. Not everybody could be a Miss Patty or a Tom Brady when playing. Everybody's human. But so far, what he showcased to me is that he could lead this team. And I think everybody, more importantly, has kind of jumped behind him and allowed him to do that, take that leadership role, and bring this team to the next level. Nobody thought that they would win this many games. Everybody thought they were going to be a dud, big question mark. So going forward, I think he'll have a lot of success. Is it going to be tough and a lot of ups and downs? Absolutely. But, I mean, him dropping 44 fantasy points? Maybe. But, I mean, him living in that realm of 15 to 25 consistently going forward? Yeah, 1,000%. Especially with the team that they built around him and catered to him. But the biggest kudos is that back office and then that offensive line. That's important. Any Bengals, if the Bengals staff is listening, it's very important, right, to get offensive linemen who are not ass to protect your assets. So that's what the Bears have done successfully so far. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, you touched on all of it. I completely agree with you. I talked a bunch of shit at the beginning of the year about how Caleb was still doing Caleb things. He's a different quarterback than he was last year, and I'll admit that. He looks good. It's a very tough stretch coming up. They may lose a handful of these games. I think he still will perform well in them. Definitely start him, especially if you have you run a super flex league and you have him and you have a good quarterback on top of that. Both of them, because they already had their bye. So that's a guaranteed minimum. I think you're right there, Fish. Minimum 15 each week. Ben Johnson, we saw what he did in Detroit, and he's definitely brought that change to Chicago, which sucks. But it's also good to see more competitiveness in the league. But I'm excited for him. Glad that he's only been sacked 14 times compared to 68, and hopefully he can get that first 4,000-yard passer, which is just wild. It's a wild stat line.
It's crazy every time I think about it.
Yeah, how long the Bears have been around, and shit. Matt Stafford went like 8 years in a row on the Lions when they were dog shit and passed for over 400 yards or 4,000 yards. And
they've had some big name quarter like Jay Cutler. I figured Jay Cutler would have had 4,000, but no. Nope. No for the Cutler. But Fish, you also have a bear.
I do. This really wasn't a sexy pick by any means, right? Fantasy wise, I'm going to go ahead and go with Kyle Monangai. Is that the correct pronunciation there? Maybe
I think so.
Monagai.
Running back.
I don't know. This is a rough one.
I don't know if you can say that, but Swift was deemed out. We know that, especially Sleeper and ESPN, they kind of deemed the next man up to be a little higher on that scale, on that plethora scale. Obviously, they played the Bengals. We know how, and I don't want to touch on it anymore, right? Everybody hears it. Everybody's sick and tired of talking about it. They're ass. The defense is bad, right? So, rightfully so, the Sleeper and ESPN deemed him 14 projected fantasy points, okay? He finished with 21. Again, that threshold, not really sexy, right? They got it and they surpassed it a little bit. He finished with 26 carries, 176 yards, and then 3 receptions for 22. The thing that I want to touch on, right, and this was a gamble, right? Everybody gets that notification Swift is out. You're like, okay, well, they're playing the Bengals. Bengals offense has been kind of hot. Maybe they get down, maybe they blow the Bears out of the water. Now it's based off the game script, right? We haven't really seen Kyle kind of step into that lead role and get the full flush of the carries, right? So it comes to the big question mark, a big gamble. I know I started him on the basis of how bad the Bengals are, but we really didn't anticipate it being a shootout. I'm more catering to the possible future, right? We've discussed that Swift, this is his year to make or break, right? We understand that the Bears offense is relatively young outside of, a couple of receivers. Swift, right? He's kind of approaching that age of kind of aging out to that prime role. This guy's a rookie, okay? For him to rush for 26 carries on 176 yards is not a fluke. 2 games so far out of the last 3 that he has started the majority of the role, he's averaged 6.5 yards per carry. Granted, it was against the Saints and the Bengals, but if this whole Swift thing, I mean, they're playing the hot hand, right? Swift has done very, very well. He should be back in the lineup this week. The future looks very, very bright for this guy and the Bears offense, especially if the Swift thing doesn't really pan out. I took a gamble on him and it paid off. I can see it again if Swift decides to go out. I feel pretty comfortable and pretty confident starting him over a Bills defense or the Patriots defense where there's a little bit more of a challenge. But with the way the Bears are playing, and it's very difficult for the defense to kind of scheme against it, especially with Caleb playing really lights out, being able to throw the rock all over the place to everyone. And we talk about this again and again and again. It's extremely difficult for a defense to kind of game script against Jonathan Taylor or Saquon when both those teams didn't really throw the ball much. So like, oh, Saquon's going to get it, JT's going to get it, we'll go ahead and load the box. Don't care who you are, it could be Barry Sanders, Will Alstott, not really doing much. But now that Caleb is slinging the rock, giving it to everybody, it opens those lanes for a halfway decent running back to do whatever he wants. I think this kid might be the real deal. Again, against some decently horrible defenses, but 176 yards and 26 carries is no joke. So he was my start this week for me, my winner. He solo won me a couple games this week, which is great, just based on that start. So glad I started him. And if he does take over the reins eventually, or if Swift is out again, I feel very, very confident starting him again against a good defense. So that's my guy.
Good pick.
Yeah, Ben Johnson might have his 2 running backs back. I'm not saying they're going to be as good as Gibbs and Montgomery, but if he starts to play Kyle a little bit more with Swift there, it's gonna be nice, and it's gonna suck for me, but because I have both of them and I don't want to use 2 roster spots on one backfield in another league, so I don't know.
Suck for me because I have Swift, but no, yeah, you're right there, not on that the 2-back system, especially now that Swift is dealing with that groin injury. Definitely gonna see I think he'll see more usage now to kind of keep him healthier for the long stretch. But Swift has done better than we thought. You know, we saw what he did the past couple of years, and he stepped in and really stars aligned, and he took a hold of it and ran with it, and did a fantastic job. So, and I'll get right into mine. My fantasy hero. This guy that sat on my bench, unfortunately. Wish I would have played him over Miss Patty. But, you know, this is a team we counted out at the beginning of the year. They catch fire a little bit, even after losing their star wide receiver. And then their upstart running back goes down, and you're thinking, man, this team's washed. They're not going to do anything. They still lost, but Jackson Dart is doing everything he can to win football games out there. He's projected to get 18.8 points, ended up with 27.24. 24 for 33 with 191 yards, 2 TDs. And then on the ground, 8 carries for 56 yards with 1 touchdown, with just 7 yards per carry. So, I mean, he's trying his heart out there for a rookie on the Giants. We thought, you know, they went with Russ. I, said week 5, he'll be the starter. Week 4, he comes in, and that team dynamic changed. And then, Scatabo goes down as well on last week against the Eagles. And, what's going to happen now? I still think they have a chance to win some more games. And really, really looking forward, especially next year, what he can do when he has Neighbors back and Scatabo's back too. I think he is going to have a hell of a sophomore year. So.
Yeah, that's a great pick as well. I mean, you look at Brian Daboll's offense, the offenses he's coached. Josh Allen, a mobile quarterback. I'm sure Daboll wishes Jackson Dart was a little bit bigger, but he also coached Daniel Jones when he was in New York, and you saw how well he moved on the ground in New York. So I think Jackson Dart, for the time being, while Brian Daboll's there, and you're right, they're not winning football games, but man, are they going down swinging. And that's for Daboll and for Jackson Dart. So I think he's going to be a great dual threat, which is always great for fantasy. So you're going to get that baseline elevated a little bit with that rushing yardage. So yeah, he's balling out, dude. I just wish we could see this team all together right now. I wish Neighbors was back. I wish Scotabo was back. It's going to be great to see next year. If they got to run it back one more time. They got to keep Dable one more year. They got to keep Sean one more year. So it's.
I think if you look at the offensive production this year compared to last year, it's going to be night and day. I haven't looked at it, but I mean, and there's no reason to see that improvement. Be like, all right, hey, maybe got two guys got hurt that were big part of this offense. They're going to be back next year. Let's give them one more shot with all the pieces of the puzzle and see what we can put together. Especially with the draft, you can get some more. Because I believe they beefed up their O-line a little bit as well, and that's definitely seen some improvement there.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll get into our fantasy heroes just because I kind of want to piggyback off of what we're saying here. My not fantasy heroes, our starts of the week. So my start of the week this week is a Giant. It's going to be Tyrone Tracy. And for the reasons we just said, Brian Dable, Joe Schoen, Jackson Dart, they're all playing, to keep fighting for next year. They're playing for their jobs. They're 2-7 right now. They're not going to make the playoffs. I don't think there's any hope that any of them have on making the playoffs. But, they're playing for that next year, and they're going to need the next man up. And you can see that they're not throwing this year away because, when Mr. Unlimited was playing poorly in the beginning of the year, they quickly switched to Jackson Dart. So they want to keep their jobs. They're going to keep on trying to win football games. Tyrone Tracy was one of the hottest waiver wire pickups, as I said earlier, after Scotabo went down. He has a lot of talent. We saw that last year. He finished as running back 26 with not really getting much workload until week 6 last year. He's very involved in the pass game. He's a very good pass catching running back, and he's also pretty good when he runs the ball too. So I think he at least deserves a flex spot look this week. Last week, Devin Singletary did outsnap him, and he also had 2 more total touches than him. But I mean, if you watch the game, it really wasn't impressive what Singletary was doing. Yeah, he got 5 yards of carry, but he only caught 2 balls out of the backfield. And Jackson Dart and the rest of that offense, they need a little bit of a spark. And I think Tyrone Tracy this week against the Bears is going to be able to produce that for them. The Bears are not the best against running backs, especially ones that catch the ball out of the backfield. So I think you could see some good upside from Tyrone Tracy this week.
I like that one. It's a sneaky play because I know ESPN and Sleeper have already deemed essentially that Singletary is going to take that lead role in the backfield. So this could be a sneaky little flex play that obviously your projection is going to be a lot lower. But I mean, this could be a huge, even if he does catch 5-6 balls out of the backfield. I mean, that's in PPR format. That's already 5-6 points. So it's good. I like it. I've looked at it this week too, as I see Singletary, and he's trending upward. Like 500,000 people have picked him up. I'm like, I don't know if that's the play there. So that's a good one. I like it. It's a little sneaky one.
There's no appeal for Singletary to me.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
No,
I like it. There's one question mark I have with it is with Jackson Dart being mobile as well. If they put a spy there, that might put some hitches in that.
Yeah.
Just because when Chicago played the Bengals last week, so you're dealing with covering Jamar, so he's getting doubled, and then T's probably also getting some help on him, and I think that's kind of what freed the running backs up to do a little bit more. Whereas on the Giants right now with Neighbors being out, there's no real they got Wandale out there, and I can't remember the other guys' names. Sure, that guy. Yeah. But that's the one. That's like I said, I like it. It's sneaky. That's the one caveat I have to it, though, is if there's a spy on Dart, that's gonna also play into Tyrone's effectiveness as well. But I'd say go for a chance on it.
Burner this week. It's
no.
Like
yeah,
you guys are saying, it's a sneaky little play.
Yeah, if you need somebody, put him in flex.
He'll be on a few of my teams in the flex spot. I know that.
Fish, why don't you go?
I also have a sneaky little play. Again, not a barn burner. It's not a gimme like some people have had in the past. But Juwan Jennings, Uh, 49ers are playing the Rams. Brock Purdy supposedly he's been off and on the last 3 weeks. He's projected he's going to come back and then doesn't. Again, he's projected to come back. This is going to be a shootout, right? The Rams coming off the bye. Puka did incredible. There is that whole offense, right? It's just uh, Matt Stafford, not Sam Darnold. Jesus, Matt Stafford looks very, very good again, and we knew he's just going to sling the rock all over the place. Puka is very, very tough to bring down. His route running is incredible. The 49ers defense is good enough to stop the run, to stop some of the passes, but not all of them, right? And we know that the 49ers offense we saw last week, everything that kind of goes through McCaffrey, if he stopped, that offense is stagnant. Um, and I think that the Rams are going to pick up on that, and the Rams linebackers and D line, I hate to say it, are very, very good. So we're going to anticipate them getting back to Brock Purdy just a little quicker, or Mac Jones for this matter. Um, we know that their safety valves have always been Kittle and McCaffrey. If they stop Kittle or stop McCaffrey or stop both, they're going to have to look for someone, right? They got Kendrick Bourne there, who last time they played in week 5 burned them for about 142 yards. I don't think that the Rams are going to let that happen again. Pearsall is still iffy. He's been projected to come back since week 3. He's still a big question mark, which then all kind of leads and stems to Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings did see the second most targets and receptions last week. Shocker. First being McCaffrey. I think you're going to see a similar trend to that this week. Kittle should probably eat into a little bit more of that. They're going to force feed McCaffrey as they should. He's done incredible things, lights out work this year. But I don't think it's going to be so game scripted. I think it's going to be neck and neck, a shootout where they're going to have to throw the ball. And a lot of it's going to have to go over the middle, which I think Juwan Jennings, that's where he's going to excel most there, cutting over the middle and maybe a deep pass or two there. But I think when McCaffrey and Kittle kind of playing those deep threats outside, little dump passes, I think that'll kind of open everything up. So Juwan Jennings would be my little sneaky flex play to go along with Nutter, Tyrone Tracy. It's not a sexy pick. He's not going to get you 38 points. But, I mean, this is more of a low risk, high reward. He could pop off and get a good amount, especially with how this game I'm anticipating being a shootout could go. So hopefully it's not going to be a Odunze dud. But, 15 points sounds pretty good for a guy that's only projected 9 to 10 maybe. So with an offense that needs a number one that can't be a Kendrick Bourne, this might be your guy.
Can we call him Rome a Dudze?
We can. I'll allow it.
Thank you.
And then he pops off for 30 this week, and then we can't call him that
I
anymore.
hope so. God, I hope so. No, I like it, especially because Brock Purdy is back to practicing. So if he's able to play this week and doesn't have that turf toe problem, I think definitely he will see more love, especially if Ricky doesn't play. So that's a really, really good sneaky pick there.
Do the 49ers have a training staff?
No.
I didn't think so.
It's everyone in urgent care.
Yeah.
I think they just fly their players out to Germany. CMC's got like a contract with them out there or something. Probably does commercials.
I believe it.
Graduated bottom of his class.
Yeah.
No, I do like the pick. Juwan Jennings, he's had his own injuries in his own right. I do not see any sort of injury designation tag on him this week, so I don't know if those... What did we say a couple weeks ago? He told the reporter he had 7 broken ribs, or cracked ribs. Like, maybe they've healed. Maybe he's superhuman. I don't know, but I do like the pick. In this time of fantasy football, you need to go for high floors. If you're pushing for the playoffs, you can't really rely on boom bust guys. Not to drizzle on what you're about to talk about, Zoltowski. But it's, if the matchup is right, you can. But if you don't have anybody where you're like, oh, this guy could boom, and he's playing, I don't know, a really good pass defense, then don't play him. But your guy's not, so you should be good.
Yeah, no, boom bust, 100%. Been waiting for it all year. He's had a couple games, but it's been very, very inconsistent. I've been waiting for him to just have a game, even though I don't have him, but because he plays for Detroit, JMO. We've seen the speed. We see what he can do. We know how fast he is. I think he's a for sure start this week. He put up 18 last week in the loss to Minnesota. And I think he's going to put that up again, if not more, against Washington. Detroit's got a bad taste in their mouth after last year, losing them in the playoffs like that. Daniels is out. The Washington's just kind of been getting lit up this year. I mean, Sam Darnold just torched them last week. And we've talked about how the Lions have a lot of weapons, and that's why spreading the love kind of gets hard. But Jared Goff has had like one or two targets that he's gone to. And last week it was J-Mo and Sam Laporta, because Sam Laporta had a really good game as well. And I think it's going to stick with J-Mo because I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up with him. And if he can catch the deep balls, great. The one thing I have to say, though, is please, for the love of God, MCDC, if we start blowing them out, take the fucking starters out. Take them out.
Yeah.
Put them to the locker room. Put them in street clothes. Don't want to see them on the field.
Don't need to put belt to ass all the time.
God, no. Look, put belt to ass, and then if it's belt to ass for the first half and we're good, out.
I do like this pick. I really do. I don't understand what the Lions are doing with Jameson Williams nowadays. Like, he's so involved in the first scripted, like 15 plays, they run out, they do their scripted plays, they kind of get a feel for what the defense is going to do. And then he just doesn't get targeted the rest of the game. I don't know if it's because he drops a ball or he's just not getting open, but his target share is all over the place. He's had a couple games with 7+, and then the rest of them are 1, 2, 3.
I think a big part of that is I haven't been able to catch, unfortunately, too many games this year just because I've been really busy on Sundays. But the games I have seen, there's a couple new pieces on the offensive line. So Goff he still has a decent amount of time, but he doesn't have as much time as he did last year, then that's for sure. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you they're sending J-Mo on deep routes.
Oh, yeah.
Deep crossers where he can use that speed to burn his defenders. Whereas Goff doesn't have enough time in the pocket to get to those routes in his progression. Or, hey, first guy's open, I'm going to take the easy play. And Amon-Ra is so good. Sam Laporta's finally seeing that resurgence that he had, 2 years ago, I think. He was absolutely fantastic. And then, when you got one of the best running back duos in the league too, even though Montgomery he's been on and off all year as well. Gibbs has been spectacular this year. So it's hard, and it's so weird to be talking about the Lions like this. It's very weird. Still just doesn't feel real. But I think that's been the big problem. But I feel like this week he should be able to keep that consistency. I think he's kind of figured out. I know the first couple of weeks I definitely saw him drop a couple balls that hit him right in the hands, and I think he's fixed that problem. So fingers crossed. It's a boomer bust for sure. This is not a layup. None of them are.
Well,
two sneaky plays and a boomer bust.
Not this week.
Not this week.
No layups this week. Fish, you got anything to add before we get into our pick'em?
I hate this pick.
Okay, I respect the honesty.
I really do. You're right. It's one of those things where he did well last week, but there's so many weapons on that offense. Like you said, I think they're gonna play with a chip on their shoulder, but not everyone on that team did well. And the first thing they're going to try and do is get both their running backs engaged. They're going to give them 1,000 touches this coming week. Amon St. Brown's going to get his. I don't know. I hopefully it works out, right? But
I mean, you think even if he only gets 2 targets and he scores both times on them,
it's not going to happen.
I know.
I mean, yeah, it's
let me be
true.
hopeful. Let me want my team to finally. They should have won. They should have won this past week. Very upset that they didn't.
You'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. JJ was playing really well. I did catch the first half before we had to leave. I can't remember what we were doing. We were doing something. Can't remember what we did on Sunday. I think I was losing in mini golf, probably.
Yeah. Talk about built to ass all week.
I wasn't. You won total by 6 strokes. Every time you beat me by 1.
Who won though?
You did.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I
It's not
forget.
belt, but
Sorry.
it's not belt to ass. You can't say belt to ass. I'd say that I lost.
I'm just
Belt
First thing
gonna
I
go ahead
said.
and say one thing I saw about your guys' trip.
Belt to ass.
Liz beat you guys in something.
She
I don't know
did
what
win
it
a
was,
round, I
but
think. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we went and played mini golf, and I think she cheated. I can't figure out how. But
Should 7-hole-in-one.
she had 7 hole-in-ones on one of the mini golf courses, and I'm baffled by it still, especially when it was the ones where, hey, hit it here and the ball drops and takes the clear path right to the hole. Hers drops in, Andy's drops in, Fish and I literally like on the edge or it lips out. And I'm like, I'm about happy going with my putter into the highway.
probably hitting it with too much oomph.
No, I was hitting it with my coin purse sometimes. Quite a few times.
All right, let's get to the pickle.
Pick 'em.
So this week 10, these are the games coming up. We have a Thursday night game. Las Vegas is going into Denver. No surprise here. Denver is 9.5-point favorites. I'm taking Denver here. No brainer.
Also, give me Denver.
Oh, shoot.
Are you making your picks now as we do this so you don't pick them wrong?
Yes.
Perfect. I think I may have caught up to you though, like in the actual scores, because I went 10-4, and you guys went 8-6 this week. So I think I may have gained a little bit of ground on you.
I forgot to pick the Thursday night game again. Just forgot to put it in. So that would have been when I got positive. Next, we're going back overseas. We're going back to Germany. Well, to Germany for the first time. They're playing at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. Fish, who plays there?
One of those teams.
He's the resident soccer guy of the podcast, so I figured he'd know. We have Atlanta going to German Indianapolis, apparently. Indianapolis is 6.5-point favorites. Give me Indy.
Yep. Bounce back.
Yeah.
All right, and then to kick off the 1:00 games, we have New York Giants going into Chicago. They're going to be playing. This is one of the higher over-unders of the week, 47.5. Chicago is 4.5-point favorites. I do have to go with Chicago just because of the injuries that the Giants are facing at the current moment. But hopefully it's a good game.
I think Jackson Dart's going to have a hell of a game.
I hope so.
But I think the Bears are going to pull this one out.
Next here we have the Buffalo Bills going into Miami. Miami kind of held a little bit of a fire sale. They got rid of one of their best pass rushers this week. He's in Philly. This is a high over-under, the highest of the week. 15.5 points. Buffalo is 8.5 points favorites on the road. I'm going Buffalo here.
Yes.
Not even a question.
Yep. I can't remember the last time Buffalo's lost to Miami.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you.
I'm going to look it up real quick. Keep going.
Next game, we have Baltimore going into Minnesota. Baltimore is a 4.5-point favorite on the road. You can tell Lamar Jackson's back. Give me Baltimore.
Same.
Soltowski, you going Minnesota?
Yeah, give me the Vikings.
Ooh. Shaking it up. Next year, we have Cleveland going to the now depleted New York Jets. They have gotten rid of a lot of their great defensive players, which makes me feel pretty good about this game. Cleveland's 2.5-point favorites in the second lowest over-under of the week, 38.5 points. Give me Cleveland, but this is probably a trap game and we're going to lose.
I will also take Cleveland.
I will also take Cleveland.
And next, this is the game I'm most excited to watch at the 1:00 slate on Sunday. We have the New England Patriots going into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is 2.5-point favorites at home. I do see that line probably moving if Bucky and Chris Godwin both get ruled out for sure. But either, man, this one's tough. If everyone plays that's supposed to play, I think I lean Tampa Bay.
I agree.
And if something happens where they're not going to play, then I will probably say New England.
I think either way, you give me the Patriots.
Going Patriots either way. I like that.
Yep. They're rolling.
Next, we have New Orleans going into Carolina. Carolina 5.5-point favorites. They are very good at home this year, and I do not see them losing to the Saints. Sorry, you're
Yes,
about to say something?
Yep, that'll be a massive game incoming.
This next slate, these two teams are on a bye, Tennessee and Cincinnati. Also on a bye this week, Kansas City and Dallas. So our next 1 o'clock game is going to be Jacksonville going into Houston. Jacksonville is 1.5-point favorites. I have to believe that that's partially because of CJ Stroud's injury, but I am going with Jacksonville this week.
Same.
Yep. Probably going to be a low-scoring affair, though. Houston's defense is pretty good.
Yeah, Houston's defense is very good. Now we have the 4 o'clock games. The first 4 o'clock game we have Arizona going into Seattle. We have this game as Seattle 6.5-point favorites, and I am taking Seattle.
Seattle.
Yep.
Also,
Seattle.
Zoltowski, you're correct. The line for the Jacksonville-Houston game is the lowest one, the week at 37.5. So, next 4 o'clock game, we have the Rams going into San Fran. This one is a 49.5-point over-under. Rams road favorites, 4.5 points. I think I lean that way myself.
I take it.
I'm going Rams.
Yep. Devontae's also been playing very well too.
Absurd year.
Yeah.
Next, we do have Detroit going into Washington. This game is going to be a snooze fest. It's just going to be Lions running down the field the entire game. Detroit 8.5-point favorites, 49.5-point over under. Give me Detroit.
Yep.
Give me my Lions.
Kind of a lackluster week, except for that Patriots and Buccaneers game.
A little bit.
I think the Bears-Giants game will be good. I think the Bengals and the Titans are going to lose to the bye week. Dallas might as well.
I believe it.
And the Rams and 49ers game, those games are always good.
That's true.
It's the interstate battles.
Yeah, the Rams 49ers game should be good. I forgot about that one there. Next, we have the Steelers going into LA to battle the Chargers. The Chargers are 3.5-point favorites. I don't think the Chargers are going to win this football game. I'm going with the Steelers.
Thinking the same.
Yep.
Kind of shocked that
I think
Chargers are favorited.
I think it's a home thing with time change.
Yeah, that could be.
But
and then we got the Monday Night Football game. Your boys, the Eagles fish, going into Green Bay. Green Bay's 2.5-point favorites. I don't see them winning that game either. Give me Philly.
Yeah, I'll take Philly.
Jair Alexander revenge game.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
And that's our pick in this week. I might put this on a parlay. Bet $1, get about $200,000 back. We'll see what happens. But yeah, if you guys don't agree, let us know. Let us know in the comments that we got wrong. We do appreciate you listening and watching. I thought this was going to be a much longer show than normal just because of the trade deadline stuff and all the injuries. But yeah, we're at hour 5, boys. Good job.
Wow, nice.
Well done. So, again, thanks for listening and watching. Always GG, thanks for being a Gent. We'll see you guys next time.